Coming to you live from DevOps Days Austin. I'm here with Michael Cote of Pivotal. Can you tell us about your speech? It was the coming donkey apocalypse.
Well, you know how it goes with these things. I proposed a talk some time ago, and then I had to come up after they accepted it with what the talk would be about. So usually I like to go over, like, here's the current state of things from kind of like an analyst perspective. Like, here's how it's playing out in the market and what's happening. And I looked at my talk last year, and it was all charts. I don't know if you remember that, but wow, that was amazing.
That's because you were an analyst.
Yeah, and so this year I wanted to give an update because there's some slightly new data, and because I don't work at 451, I can acknowledge the existence of other analysts, so I use charts from them to kind of go over how things are going. Things are going well. There's more and more penetration or usage of DevOps. And then I also wanted to end up with a sort of, here's my recommendations for like what DevOps as a community needs to focus on to expand next. And that was basically, the notion was that DevOps is becoming more and more mainstream. So you've got your unicorns and your horses and your donkeys, right? And donkeys, of course, is my beloved term for like mainstream people, normal people who are doing the normal work and everything. And in being an analyst and working at Pivotal, I've noticed that there's kind of like three areas that's helpful for DevOps. One of them is just continuing to talk about changing culture and process and thinking in a product-oriented way, you know, a DevOps way is doing continuous delivery. And then another one is basically focusing on how do we do like legacy code? How do we support existing code that we have and working with that? And I have to admit, I've forgotten what the third thing is. That's why I usually have slides.
Well, so what?
But I'm sure it was pretty awesome.
So before we go with that,
I know what it was. It was what you need to do is be sure to talk about technology a lot, right? Instead of just culture and process, talk about the tools that you actually use for this. And so at Pivotal, we talk about you're going to need a cloud platform that encapsulates all the operational development things. You're going to need cloud and automation and all of that. So it's very important to talk about culture and process, but it's equally important to talk about the actual tools and technologies that people are using.
So I just wanted to go back. You talked about donkeys being the regular companies. Can you give some examples of horses and unicorns?
Well, I think some of your like larger like banks I would classify as you know, top 5 banks globally are sort of horses, and I think of horses as companies that have a lot of time and money, right? So they have the luxury of figuring things out, and they have good staffing there as well, but they sort of get it when it comes to culture and process, and they also have lots of time and money, as I said.
Well, and I think the quote you had there was from JP Morgan Chase, from Jamie Dimon.
Right. And so he had a good quote in his shareholder letter from, I guess it's this year for last fiscal year or whatever. And it was basically like Silicon Valley is coming, right? And we're doing everything that we can. I'm not doing the quote exactly, but we're going to do everything we can to compete, right? And so it was sort of like this realization from a very well-respected, like, you know, CEO and company that the mindset of Silicon Valley, being a software-defined business, using custom-written software to change how your business operates, it's spreading out through industries. And so that's very much so what I would call like a horse mentality in a horse company, right? And I think the things you hear of unicorns are like your Netflixes and your Ubers, right? People that are, I wouldn't describe them as technology companies, right? If you think about it, Netflix is an entertainment company, Uber is a transportation company, but they look like technology companies. They use technology like technology companies do, like where you and I work, Barton at vendors, and they use it to run their business, their core software-defined businesses. And I would call donkeys like everyone else, the people who like, I don't know, recently upgraded SharePoint. Like there are people who have not quite gotten the fact or been able to execute on the fact, I should say, that they could start using custom-written software to dramatically change how they do their business and make it much better.
Awesome. Michael Cote, thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.